So I want to talk a little bit about chin-ups and how to get chin-ups or how to work towards getting chin-ups. I don't know if you can see it here, but we have a little chart for chin-up progressions which we follow in this gym, and this has been useful over the years in helping a lot of our members to get full chin-ups. I have here beginners, intermediate and advanced. Now again, it's not black and white, although this board is clearly black and white. It's just a guide or a framework to use, or to at least give us some kind of pathway to go forward. Now what we have here in the beginner section is we have hangs, we have scap chin-ups, we have ring rows, we have negatives, negative repetitions where we're lowering ourselves slowly under control, and partial reps where we're not doing full range of movement because we obviously haven't got that strength yet, but it's something that we're building towards, and over time trying to measure progress in increasing the range that we're performing for each repetition. One thing you'll see, or one thing you won't see, is banded chin-ups. Now I'll talk about this a bit more, but I've just over 20 to 23 years of coaching. I've never seen bands have any real carryover to performing true chin-ups. Now the thing about bands, which I'll show you in a second, is that it kind of turns the resistance curve upside down the repetitions. So on the bottom of that repetition with bands, that band is extremely taut and it's going to slingshot you past that first part of the rep where you have to learn how to engage your scapula, initiate the movement properly, so you never really get a chance to do that because you're already bang halfway up to the repetition. So and also bands, they let people get away with kind of slightly sloppy technique as well too, in terms of total body tension, and that's one big thing that I see folks constantly come back to after they've done a chin-up or they're working towards it, saying, well, I can really feel my core doing that, which I just see people on bands are kind of swaying around the place. There's no real total body tension or control there on that one. So one thing in fairness which I have learned over the years is not to talk in absolutes, so I shouldn't say we'll never do them. I know some people might say, oh well, listen, you know, I feel like I'm doing something through doing them, or it's building my confidence or whatever. That's well and good. If you want to do something you can, but if you're going to do chin-ups with bands, practice chin-ups with bands, I would do them in conjunction with some of these pieces here as well. And I've heard people talk about if they don't have access to like pull down machines, they could use bands to get more volume in that vertical pulling position, which is fair enough as well too. You could set up bands as well with the fat grips to do lat pull down variations, but again, you know, I think bands are good in terms of hitting muscle groups at certain angles and whatnot, but you know, if you have access to a cable machine, that would be my preference. So anyway, beginners, intermediates, we have clusters, and again, a beginner is someone that probably in my eyes can't do a full chin-up. Intermediate would be someone that could probably do, you know, 5 to 10 chin-ups possibly. There we look at clusters, we look at sub-max sets, and advanced would be someone that get at least 10 chin-ups body weight, and there we look at maybe doing weighted repetitions or weighted clusters. So in terms of the first movement or the first exercise I would attempt is just hangs, nothing else really yet. You've got to develop that grip strength. Now I have long arms, I can reach this bar. Some people will be shorter, we can give them a box or a bench. That's one of the things people tend to get nervous about this, not to know how far to fall, but then we'll just get a bench or something as well too. And all we're going to do here, we'll take a chin-up grip. I'm not talking about pull-ups, I'm talking about chin-ups for this video. Again, I would be getting people to work towards chin-ups first, or neutral grip, or the standard chin-up grip first, because I feel that's the easiest one to get initially, and then from there we can work onto our pull-ups. So for this one here, for the hangs, chin-up grip, grabbing the bar, and I'm just going to take my feet off the ground or the bench if it's below me, or a box, and it's going to hang here. Now I'm not in a complete dead hang, I'm kind of pulling my shoulders a little bit away from my ears and holding here. What we could do here is just hold for max time. If we're not getting 10 seconds, we could get as many seconds as we can, come off, rest, hop back on. So try to accumulate roughly 30 seconds. That gives you 3 sets of 10 or however you want to break it down, but we're trying to build that up. Number 2, the next thing that will be our scap chin-ups. Scap will be our scapula, our shoulder blades. And what I want to do here is, once we develop that grip strength, we're going from that hang. And from here, I'm in a dead hang, so I'm not up here in an active hang. I'm in a dead hang here. I'm going to lean back slightly. And what I want to do, I'm not really bending my elbows, so I'm pulling my shoulder blades back and then down. I'm initiating the movement from my shoulder blades. And this is what I'm talking about when we don't use the bands too, because a lot of times, I'll get you a band now, if I am using a band, what's going to happen is, I'm going to get this guy set up. Now I'm not going to bother doing this, alright? But if I have this band down here, you can see the amount of tension here. This is going to just absolutely slingshot me way past that part where I get the chance to practice engaging my scapula here, my shoulder blades, my lats. And it's going to slingshot me up to just basically an arm chin up. And again, take this guy away and you are going to struggle in that position. So that's why I would like to develop some strength around the scapula first and build that up. So in terms of bands, don't use it. Ring rows. Okay, these are another great tool to use. They're going to help us develop that pulling strength. We can vary the intensity of the movement with our foot position. I'll show you that in a second. But also as well, this is going to develop strength through the connective tissues in the shoulders and the elbows. This could be a horizontal pull as opposed to that vertical pull, but it's definitely going to help us with those back muscles here and just going to develop our strength throughout the posterior chain. So all I'm going to do here, use TRX, whatever you want to use, rings here. All I'm doing is getting myself into position here, arms are straight. Now I'm really trying again, I'm drilling this home, focus on instead of bending the elbows to start the movement, I'm pulling my shoulder blades back and then squeezing my elbows back past my midline. Okay, now if that's quite easy, I can walk my feet forward a bit more here. Same thing, draw my shoulder blades back and then the elbows follow, squeeze back, keep my back straight. I'm not doing a worm, I'm not throwing myself up or anything like this at all. Okay, if I'm getting tired, I can walk back a little bit, so we can kind of dictate the resistance or the intensity ourselves here in terms of moving our foot position back and forward. But this is another great one to build volume in those back muscles and to build strength in that pulling position as well. Okay, so ring rows, another good option for beginners. Next thing, we can look at negatives. So negatives are another great way of developing strength, and a negative, what I mean when I say negative is we are focusing on the lowering part of the movement. So to get ourselves to the top position where my chin is over the bar, I could jump here, but I generally find if those can't do chin-ups, they don't like to jump. What we'll do instead is we can use a box, we can use a bench, get ourselves up to here, hands on the bar, strong grip, and from here I'm going to use my legs to jump up, chin over the bar, stabilize, and from here I'm going to lower for 3 to 5 seconds. I think sometimes if folks do this initially, they will lower for about 10 or 15 seconds, do that a few times, and then they wake up tomorrow and they're like this. Okay, so again, that's one thing about eccentric loading. When I started out coaching and working in gyms, there was this big scaremongering around eccentric loading. You can't do it more than once a week, you're going to get crippling DOMs, this and that. It's mostly fine, but I would say is we don't need to be a hero and try and do the slowest repetition we've ever seen on our first rep or set. So 3 to 5 seconds should suffice. Okay, so what I'm doing is I can start in a box, I can jump up, whatever. But again, good grip on the bar. And when you get to that top position to stabilize, squeeze your shoulder blades down, hold for a second, and then we lower. You should feel your abs here as well, just your core keeping tight all the way down. Okay, so there's the negatives. Next after that, then be our partial range. Now, partial range, kind of what I mean here, is we're not doing full range of movement. Now I could start from here, say on this box, so I'll be pulling from about this angle with my arm. Now again, a little hop is okay, but we want to try and minimize that over time. So from here, I'm not trying to jump, I'm trying to minimize the jump or any help in the legs. Good strong grip, really try and pull the shoulders down. And from here, I'm going to pull up over that bar. Now when I'm lowering, I do want to lower all the way down, not partial range. That eccentric is all the way down, okay? Now again, turn into a cluster. We can take a few seconds rest, because obviously if we're learning this, our grip is going to get tired pretty quickly. Hands in the bar again, good strong squeeze. And again, I'm trying not to jump just from here, or I can even go from one foot. I find that helps me not to jump. Then from here, I'm going to pull, drive my elbows down past my midline, chin over the bar. And again, I am trying to lower myself all the way down, okay? That's our partial range. What we're looking to do over time is reduce the assistance here. So I've got a box here right now. What I like to do as well is get some plates. Partial range. My arms aren't extended far straight here, they're slightly bent, but the angle is a bit greater than it was when I was standing on the box. So same thing, good strong grip, shoulder blades back and down, and from here, pull my chin over the bar, hold, and then control all the way down. All right, so that's our partial range. And as we get more confident in that, we can just then increase our range. Same thing, arms are nearly straight at this point. Good strong squeeze, shoulder blades back and down. Get your chin over the bar, and then control all the way down again, okay? We can start adding those guys together. If we're doing clusters, we can take a 10-second break. 10 to 15-second break and go again. Once you have the partial reps, we can start to, hopefully at this stage now, get full repetitions. Now we might get a case where we can get one or two, or get a couple of them. Sometimes I've seen folks jump from doing our partial reps to like bang getting two. But obviously, in terms of order, it's probably going to be normal to just get one from there. So again, I'm going to hang, so straight arms, or as straight as I can get my dodgy arms. I'm going to pull my shoulder blades back, drive my elbows down, chin over the bar, and all the way down. Okay, we can try and build that up. So intermediates, you should be able to get about 5 to 10 repetitions in a row. To build on that then again, what I'd be saying is looking at the amount of reps that you can do overall within a workout. So if you're doing 3 sets of 5, say, are you doing 5 repetitions, second set you're doing 5, third set you're doing 4, so that'd be 14 repetitions overall. You're trying to build the overall volume, so the next time you're training, hopefully you might be able to get 15 reps. Or it could be a case of, you know, we might have to do 4 sets instead. We're trying to build up. So you're thinking, one thing I find that helps me is thinking of also, you know, not just how many you can do in 1 set in a row, but how many repetitions you're doing overall throughout the workout. So you're trying to build your volume over time as well, okay? So clusters then can work. So say if we have, you know, a scenario where we might have, we could do 5 repetitions, but we can't get 6. What we might do then is like clusters of 2. So what I'll do is I'll get my grip set up, I'm getting 1 repetition, I'm going to go again, so 2, then I'm going to come down, I'm going to shake out my arms, I'm going to give I'm going to set up a 10-second break, and I'm going to go again, I'm going to do another 2, okay? So again, this would be useful if there was a scenario where I could only do 5, but I couldn't, I do 5 and I couldn't get 6. This way I can get 6 overall, and we can build on that. So the last 2, so this would be my 5th rep, then my 6th rep. Okay, we can build our clusters that way as well. Okay, and another thing, Pavel Satsunin, I think, an old school kettlebell coach who's got some quite good stuff, he had this method called greasing the groove, where he'd try and do a couple of, or even 1 sub-max set every day, not going to failure. And that can be another really useful protocol, or even something you should be doing with your chin-ups. It's not going to failure all the time on them. If you're stuck at a certain number, just do sub-max. So what I mean when I say sub-max is you can do 6 reps, you fail at 6, say, let's just do 5 or 4. And if you're doing that every day, that's what I'm trying to say to people in here as well, is at the end of your workout, there's no chin-ups even prescribed in the workout. If you want to improve your chin-ups, just hit a set of sub-max reps. So, you know, before you go out the door, just hit 4 if you can do 5 or 6. Because again, you'll recover quicker, but you're also training your body to get more efficient at that movement as well. So you can look that one up, greasing and groove. That can be useful as well. So sub-max is something else we would encourage your intermediate trainees to do. Now, if you want to go advanced, if you know that's someone that can get at least 10 repetitions, you know, straight through, we look at weighted reps. So just get a weight belt or a dip belt, or we look at weighted clusters. Okay, so we could use a dip belt, or you could use a dumbbell between the legs. Oh look, a dumbbell right here. All right, so what do we got? 15 kilos. So I guess a little adductor workout as well. You can squeeze here. All right, so again, do a little shuffle. Hold on here. Again, strong core. Draw my shoulder blades back, drive my elbows down, chin over the bar, and all the way down. All right. So, like a barbell lift for strength training, 3x5 is a standard protocol. We can do 3 sets of 5 with the weighted chin-ups. Again, if that's all right, you know, kind of, I want to build more volume, we could do clusters. So you could do, instead of 3x5, you could do 3x2, 2, 2. So that'd be 6 reps each set. All right. So again, you do 2 repetitions of this with this weight, 10-second break, 2 more, 10-second break, and 2 more. So again, sometimes I guess it can be interesting to try and look for our 1RM with a chin up as well. Your chin up 1 rep max is, including your body weight, your shoulder press 1RM should be 66% of that. So that's a little kind of reference point there. You can work out one out yourself and see how far off you are. Dip belts can be useful as well. As the weight gets heavier, it's going to be harder to hold that between your legs. I'm sure I could say something there, but I won't. So we need a dip belt as well. And again, as this gets heavier, it's going to be tricky just getting ourselves set up. Use a spotter to help out. Otherwise, get ourselves set, just watch your junk. And the same thing. So take a second, let that kettlebell settle, or weight settle. Again, strong squeeze. Probably won't be able to talk as I do this. I'm going to lock in, going to drive my elbows down, chin over the bar, and back down. Alright. So, it's another variation of a weighted chin up. And that'll be something that I'd say advanced trainees will get a lot from. Now we'll have a carryover again to bodyweight chin ups too. So obviously, the stronger you become that 1RM, your bodyweight versus will become a smaller percentage of that 1RM too as well. So I think, as I've seen myself, anecdotally, training with the weight and training bodyweight are 2 different skills, but they can work well together too as well. So I think for advanced trainees, weighted chin ups are great, but I also think keep chipping away your bodyweight variations or bodyweight chin ups as well too. And just making sure that you have a rough idea of how many repetitions you could get straight through as well. And I think the key over time is, especially for like elbow health as well, is maybe looking at, say, some max reps. And while we're on the topic of elbow health as well, and I got this from Dan John years ago, doing chin-ups with rings, I never used TRX, whatever you call them, handles, but they could work as well, I'm not sure. These are also quarter rings. So basically, same kind of grip as a standard gymnastic ring, but these work too. So the advantage here is that you're not particularly fixed into that kind of specific range here into the elbow. We have a little bit of movement in the forearms too. This can be a little bit more forgiving in the elbows if we are doing volume. But I find as we get more advanced and it comes to training age as well, the tendonitis, medial epicondylitis, all that kind of stuff, can be just something we have to manage a little bit too. We just manage that through the volume as well. And there's even more studies coming out saying our negatives could be beneficial for that too. But something like this, again, with our chin-ups here, we have a little bit of movement in the forearms and our grip, which can offset a little bit of that repetitive strain if we're just stuck in that fixed range all the time. So it's something else to use, maybe for more advanced trainees. You can look at the rings or the quarter ring grips here as well too, for a bit of variety in the pulling movements. So there are chin-up progressions. Not an exhaustive list, I've probably forgotten stuff. But it gives you a rough idea, a rough pathway, and a rough framework. Again, beginners, intermediate, advanced, it's just for ease of reference here. It's not judgmental, I'll judge you on other things, but it's pretty straightforward here too. So again, one thing I'm just not mad on is bands. I'm not saying I never use them, but I never really use them. So we have our hangs, we have our scap chin-ups, our ring rows, negatives, partial reps, going into clusters, so max sets, weighted reps, and weighted clusters.